Thanks for tuning in. I'm Carbon Mike, and this is The Explainer. The focus of this series is plain talk about complex topics. As I record this, it's April 23rd, 2020. We're in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, and I thought, for obvious reasons, that viruses would make a good first topic. What is a virus? Well, let's start by talking about what a virus isn't. It's not a cell. It's not alive in any sense we commonly understand. Your cells are alive. They're microscopic factories. What do they make? Well, you. All the structural elements and substances that make up a human being are created and maintained by your cells. When you contract a bacterial infection, alien factories set up shop in your body, bacterial cells. And it's the pollution from those factories, those cells, that causes your own factories, your own cells, to either malfunction or shut down. Viral infections are nothing like that. You see, a virus is more like a document, like a piece of paper with some instructions on it. And that piece of paper finds its way into your factories, into your cells. And once it does that, it causes the cell to stop making the bits and pieces of you and start making new copies of the original document, the original virus. So let's talk about structure for a second. A virus is software in a box, sometimes wrapped in a plastic bag. What do I mean by that? Well, the software is DNA, the code that tells cells to do things. So a virus contains DNA. Or, in the case of retroviruses, like HIV, sometimes that software is RNA. But either way, same thing. It's instructions that tell the cell to do something, in our case, to make new viruses. The box is protein. It's called a capsid. And the job of that box is to protect the software. And some scientists think that the capsid also plays a role in helping the virus take over the mechanism of the host cell. But basically, the capsid is just protein, a box made of protein. The plastic bag is called the envelope. Now, there are different families of viruses, and they are classified several different ways. Depending on how the software inside the virus is actually written, we might call them type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4, and so on. This is called the Baltimore classification system, after the scientist who came up with it. But we also classify viruses in terms of whether they have this plastic bag around them, this envelope, or not. Viruses that have the plastic bag around them are called enveloped viruses. Viruses that don't have the plastic bag are called non-enveloped. Now, why is this important? Because this envelope around certain types of viruses is very much like the envelope around your cells. It's like a cell membrane. And the cell membranes, the envelopes of certain viruses, have key cards attached to them. Well, they're not really key cards. They're proteins, but they serve the same function as a key card. They're what allows the virus to get into the secure facility, to the factory, to the cell, to your cell, and infect it and take it over. So with enveloped viruses, if you pop the plastic bag, then even if the software and the box remain intact, you have effectively neutralized the virus, because the software inside the box has no way of getting into one of your cells without the proteins on the virus's envelope. Now, what does this have to do with COVID-19? The novel coronavirus, the virus that causes COVID-19, is an enveloped virus. If you pop the plastic bag, you've neutralized the threat. What kinds of things can pop the plastic bag? Well, chemicals, for one, which is why washing your hands is a good idea. Also, heat. Also, UV radiation, the sun. Have you ever wondered why the flu doesn't kill people at the same rate all year round? The flu virus, like all viruses, is not alive, so we can't say that the flu virus dies off in spring and summer. The reason why there's a flu season and why the flu becomes less of a threat as it gets warmer and sunnier is that it gets warmer and sunnier and people go outside. That's the case for ending, or at least relaxing, these lockdowns. COVID-19 is dangerous, just as the flu is dangerous. It's especially dangerous to old people and the immunocompromised, so we should protect them. More knowledge is better, so we should step up testing. But the fact is, going outside in the sun is one of our best weapons against these types of viruses. The same natural phenomena, sunlight, heat, fresh air, that are our allies against the seasonal flu can also be our allies against novel coronavirus, if we let that happen. That's all for this episode of The Explainer. I'm Carbon Mike. You can find out more about the Foundationist Society by going to www.futurerad.io. You can follow us on Twitter. We're Future Radio Feed. And you can follow us on Instagram, Foundation Tech. Thanks a lot. Take care.